Hello everyone. Nice meeting you. Actually, my name is James. James Wu. I'm the founder and the CEO of DFG. So today I'm going to give you a little bit more insight from my experience in the crypto industry and how to operating a good venture capitals in the Web3 world. Yeah, first a little bit introduction about DFG. So actually we started this company in pretty early stage in 2015. My family is supporting me a lot from the beginning. They gave me $20 million to start. And so unlike the other venture capitals, we don't have any LP, outside LP, so just like a very private company. Luckily, we are in the industry pretty early stage, so right now we successfully grew our AUM to $1 billion, and we invest into 100 different projects so far. We do first bunch of investment in the equity side, start from 2015. Because at that time it's very early stage. Basically, there's not even Ethereum there, so it's all about Bitcoin. So we invest into different exchange in different country and a few different Bitcoin use cases. For example, the company like LedgerX, Brave, ISK, Ripio, Unocoin. They are small at that time, but right now they all become $1 billion of business. One thing we invest into equity that we conclude from the past 7 years is that since you are not issued a token, you are not operating a decentralized business. You are basically offer the centralized financial service to the customer. Then you have to be legit to get a license. So our strategy is really to focus on the licensed CeFi business to invest from the equity perspective. So recently we also invest into a few more equities, including CoinList, 3iQ, FE Bank, and a few others. And this is not, people think, sometimes people think, only tokens can generate a lot of return for you. But it's also true that, equity can also generate a lot of return to you if you're selecting the right one. That's also one of our conclusions. The second, I would say the most important thing in our firm is start from 2017. We started investing to different layer 1 protocols, including Solana, Polkadot, Avalanche, Near, and a few others. I mean, these are really top tier and big names right now, but at that time, all of them are less than $1 billion in valuation. And when time goes on, we really decide to focus more on the Polkadot side and sell the other, layer 1 protocol. It's probably the worst decision of myself. Sold all the Solana tokens from the beginning when they get listed at less than $3. That's probably the worst decision from my investment vehicle. But it's okay because we're holding Polkadot stock from 30 cents and keep buying it in 80 cents and $2-3. Right now it's not bad. It's above $20. We are continuously accumulating more DOT on the second market and start from beginning. So that actually, give some insight for myself about my experience on this. I mean, when I take a look at all the VCs in the crypto industry, one thing become clear that, a couple of things become clear. The first is really you have to have a focus. If you are like a VCs being very diversified, investing into 100 projects, 200 projects without a focus, then it's very easy for you to enter into a dilemma that you are not going to get enough return, right? So for ourselves, although I regret a lot about selling Solana at an early stage, but I do hold a Polkadot. That's the most return for my VCs and also for the top tier Polkadot project. So that is also very important. If you take a look at top tier VCs right now, like Multicoin, they're having to Solana. There's like other example as well, like 3 Arrows, they're having to Avalanche. You have to have a focus, and to be honest, and that is something going to be popular in the next couple of years. So it's also important for you to think in the long term, right? You are going to selecting the project, start from 2019, 2018, then hold it for now. That at least cost you like 3-4 years. thinking about long term, holding for the long term, do have a focus, then you probably will be very successful and getting a lot of returns. So what I'm saying here is like for the investment strategy, I really prefer to thinking forward and really holding the token for a long time. That's actually generate a lot of return for you. If you take a look at the VCs that, unless they can raise billions dollars like Anderson Horowitz or others, right? But if it's a crypto native VCs, you will find that there's a focus in this VC which bring most of the return for their portfolios. The other things I want to highlight here is the importance of layer 1 protocol. If you take a look at the top 20 or top 10 coins under coin market cap and eliminate all the stable coins, then you will find out layer 1 protocol is really going to dominate the market. Axie Infinity is popular, other applications are popular, but they are not top 20. They are like number 30 or number 40. So layer 1 protocols, it shouldn't have like a $300 and $400 billion valuation. Its competitor have at least $10 to $100 billion valuation. So that is why layer 1 is important, because they can be very fundamental. They are the infrastructure, so they can be very, very big. So, I'm not saying if you purely invest into applications, you're probably expert in gaming industry, then you focus on GameFi, you invest in all the good projects in GameFi, you still can be big. But what I'm saying is, if you're being successful about selecting one layer 1 protocol, then it will add a lot of chance for you to become successful, just because the market cap and the valuation for layer 1 protocol is very, very high. The others, I will say, I will explain a little bit why we, being very early into Polkadot and stick to that. What I'm thinking about is, we invest in all the top tier Polkadot projects like Akala, Big Country, A-Stars, Interlay, HydroDX, basically everybody. So why we think this is important is, I think Polkadot have the idea which is not directly competing with Ethereum, or it's actually a different thing. So we think Ethereum is still going to dominate the market, but since the future belongs to multi-chain and the cross-chain, obviously it's going to work in the Polkadot ecosystem. That is very important. You can see all the hacks happen in the the so-called bridge, right? From different chain right now. It's actually already proved to be wrong, right? So if you need a cross-chain solution, you have Cosmos, you have Polkadot, you have probably the others in the future, but Polkadot is definitely one of the solutions for that. It's not like the vision of Ethereum, it's a different thing. Then it has the enough potential and the room for the growth in the future. So that's why we've been very heavy into that layer 1 protocols. So a little bit explanation about our strategy here. Yeah, here's also a further look, but I already explained before. It's really about, if you're operating an investment firm or you're a personal investor, really what I suggest here is thinking forward and thinking about what happens 3-5 years later, and what is going to be popular at that time, and really stick to that. That will generate the most of a return for your portfolios. And this is important, because if you invest in Tron and EOS in 2017, right now they are not popular anymore, right? So you have to select in the right partner. So thinking forward, thinking what is happening 3-5 years later is also important. And more important, be a holder and stick to that. Not kind of change your position every year or every 6 months. That's not going to help, become big in the future. Yeah. The other things I want to say about VCs here is really because all the traditional big players like Tiger, Jsquare are coming into place, it's really important for crypto native VCs to be more hands-on. So we are taking that strategy. So overall speaking, to other projects, we already invest and we will invest. I think what we offer here is basically 2 things. The first is more common support for the project, like connecting you guys to different centralized exchange, and also the crowd loan platform could be centralized or decentralized, like Coinlist, Republic, or Polkadot, Angel Starter. And other marketing is important, providing the KOL resources, PR resources, and also when you raise capital, we can help you make introductions for other top tier VCs, which could providing the value for the the project. The other is more. The second point is more like it's going to be more specific need to different projects. For example, DeFi project want us to provide TVL, and Polkadot project want us to supporting the crowd loan. So there's more like a specific detail need from different projects that we are able to help them from different aspects. So this is basically the two things. Overall speaking, we're trying to be hands-on. We're trying to talk to our portfolios at least once a month and seeking for more kind of synergy here and help the project to grow. Yeah, this is the second part. I share a little bit about what is DFG and what is our investment philosophy. The second part I want to share a little bit more about what kind of project we want to invest and what we see in this industry. Yeah, the one thing is important, I think, for the project we invest is thinking deeply about the product. Product is everything. There's a lot of projects we see, actually, they try to just copy other people's model and building on another layer one protocol. I think this probably work in the short term. It's not going to, it's not just doesn't make any sense in the long term. Because you have to, in this industry, only probably the top one or top two project will be successful. So my understanding is you have to compare to your competitors and thinking in details about what kind of things we offer better than them. And more importantly, where our customer or users use this kind of feature. If you are creating a bunch of new features, then the customer are not using it. It's not going to help your business, right? So I think really think about two steps. One is like what can offer better than the existing project. The second is like where it really help our users. So when you think this clearly and you also fulfill your vision, then it's very likely for you to be successful. Yeah, the second is really, a thought I have is really there's two kind of innovation. The first is, let's just give a simple example. The first is really about like a Uniswap toward all the centralized exchange. That's more like a disruptive innovation that I'm changing the exchange industry as a whole. It's a new model. It's really tough to think about the detail and realize it, but Uniswap did it. The other ways doing that is like I created Sushi Swap, make a few new good like a feature which is better than Uniswap, then also building a better product. So I mean both works, but you have to think in very detailed way about which path you are going to choose and really stick to that. Yeah, and this is also the important part of operating a project, I think. Thinking about a short-term goal and a long-term visions. I mean, short-term is important. You need to build a product very fast and make things work, launch the product, gaining first bunch of users. That is very important because if you can move as fast as you can, gaining first bunch of users, creating good momentum, then it's going to help you a lot about reserve a good spot in the sector, right? That's important. But also, the other thing that's important is like also thinking about things in the long term. Is this thing going to work 5 years later? Even if you're creating good momentum in 6 months, what if it's not going to work in the 3-5 years later? That's not going to help the project. So I think operating a project, you need to think both in the short term and the long term. So that's an important part about setting up the goals. Yeah, and this is the part I think a lot of projects will miss. It's really what kind of end user application you are building on or infrastructure you're building on. Is the technology ready enough for that? Just giving an example. I know some of projects they are waiting for Lightning on Bitcoin for years. But they can choose on other things to build, but Lightning didn't work in the past 5 or 6 years. Then they're wasting their times for that. So make sure the project you're building on a protocol which match the progress of your project. If the technology is not ready, if the infrastructure is not ready, then it's not going to make you successful. Just imagine CryptoKitty is actually the first player make Ethereum network crash. right? But they are not successful right now. But you have the other project become successful. They are late, but they are choose to building on the protocol either a certain compiler or layer 2 or whatever. Just when the technology is ready, then it is going to be successful. So that is something I think the project will miss a lot, but I think which is very important here. The other things I have to mention here is about the token matrix and valuation. Because we see so many good teams from traditional industry, gamings and others try to move into the industry and building good stuff. And their expertise help them to build good project, good product, but they have failed to have a very good token matrix, which is going to hurt them a lot. You have to make sure on a secondary market, the price is smooth, it goes up gradually, and really important thing is really control the market cap and really the initial supply, and make sure the token is not dumping and pumping too heavily because of that. So we have expert in our team, and also a lot of friends, our actor can help on that. This is really my advice to some of the team who's very good from the traditional industry and try to move into the crypto industry. It is really design a very good token matrix and token economics. The other things I want to say here is what I prefer to investment is more long-term. I'm okay with long-term vesting period, but more importantly, the team has to have a long-term vesting period as well. That proves that you are stick to the project in the long term. Otherwise, if you have the same lockup time with other investor or other part of the tokens, then what's the point about making it, right? You are just going to dump the market, and working on the project. That is not going to help, and we don't like this project. So I'm okay with investor to be more long-term supporters, but I need a team also to stick to the project in the long term. Yeah, and valuation is definitely important because right now the market is crazy. It's just simply crazy because all the billions of dollars of fees is coming to the place and push a lot of project, the valuation in the primary market to an unreasonable one. We definitely won't do that. I think that is something insane and will probably cause a problem in the future. So we were thinking we think like a project have to raise at a more reasonable valuation, then we will probably invest. So that is also something we observed recently. I think overall speaking, the gap from primary market and secondary market will become, as the traditional industry will become actually, short, not that big, like, all the VCs can generate a lot of profit. But also, right now it seems unreasonable because so many projects being valued at very high, valuation. So we think more reasonable valuation is going to give more benefit to both the project and also the investors. Yeah, last thing is about team. I think team is super important. Be sure you are working on something you understand and you are good at. Not going to catch the trend, because you never know what is going to be the trend in the future, right? In the past ballroom, you have DeFi become popular first, then NFT, then GameFi, then Metaverse. Everything will become popular at a certain time period. So make sure we work on something you understand. If you're a gaming person, you work on GameFi. If you're a financial person, you work on DeFi. You stick to that and not going to change your project. I see so many projects, they are trying to catch up a trend and really change a lot about their initial design, and that's not going to help. So this is something I think really important. And make sure you have a team, understand the things you work on, and really make it work. Yeah, okay, that is my part of the presentation, and I will let Joanna, my colleague Joanna, to speak more about our new investment fund, Jsquare, then we can take more questions.
So hello, everybody. I'm Joanna, previous CIO of DFG, and currently CEO and co-founder of Jsquare. I co-founded with James to set up this new investment vehicle called Jsquare early last year. And our focus for this fund is to invest in more into the fields like NFT, GameFi, and Metaverse projects. And up to now, we have invested in over 50 projects in total. And I'll give you a sneak peek of our portfolio projects afterwards, and so that you can have a better understanding of our investment philosophy. And actually, I believe that a lot of people have seen that starting from this year, a lot of funds, whether it's crypto native funds or starting from the traditional giants, are starting to enter into the GameFi and metaverse and set up their new funds, like raising hundreds of millions or billions of dollars in this market, so that you can see that this is actually a very promising sectors for now. And I would just give you I will just give a showcase of some of our portfolio projects and see and walk you guys through why we are so bullish in these sectors and what kind of the trends that I'm seeing right now in terms of this the development in this field. So some showcase of our portfolio games. The first is Theater Arena. I believe a lot of people have known about this before. It is actually an esport game, and it became a hit even before it launches. And now, up to now, it has already gained tractions and new users for over 24 million users for now. And the other is called the Horizon. And it is actually building a Disneyland in GameFi world. And they are what is interesting is that they are creating a meta ID for a series of games that they are creating. And so that as long as you hold the meta ID, you can enter into every game that they create. And there are actually different types of the games that will showcase in the future, like the MMORPG, MOBA, shooting, SLG, and so on. Besides just playing games, so what if I want more experience besides just playing? And so there comes a lot more metaverse experiences. Let us just I'm sorry, how can I play this video? Can you just help click on this? It just enters into the next page. Yeah, I will show you the video. This is actually the best street culture metaverse for now, and it has already partnered with a lot of fashion brands and the street brands and celebrities. And in the future, you can actually experience the virtual conference, the concerts and exhibitions in this world. And let me see how to play this video first. There's actually sorry, I can't.
I have an image but not a video.
No.
Do it this way.
Yeah, this one.
I can see from
Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one. And then after this, you can go back to the. Yeah. Thank you so much.
watch 透的样子像只 black cat。Sorry， 我先走了，拜拜，有空下次再来。到哪里我都要当一个专属 VIP， 这就是我的 street style。Street style。我们都在在 ，cool up，cool up。你的未来 ，cool up，cool up。你的未来，前面飞快 ，everything's fine。
Yeah, so this is actually a AAA game to some extent as well, besides the metaverse concept behind it, which is very exciting to me. And the other one, I believe that most of people might have already known. This is Big Time, made by the Decentraland team. And so they're about to launch a very big MMORPG game very soon. That will launch very soon, maybe next month or so. So because this is a downloaded video, so maybe it's not that clear for in terms of the graphic. So actually, you have no entry threshold to enter this game. So everybody can just play at a single click at the website, and you can just hunt for treasure and join your own teams, and even hunt for loot, like the kind of the NFT collections in this game. And so, what if I don't? Well, I'm tired of being a human. So you can also become a bull or a lion in this metaverse, and you can do a lot of the hunting stuff as well. Hello, can you help me, like, play this one? It is also at the same. No, actually, there is. There should be one. Okay, so maybe just from the Twitter. Can you just log into Twitter and from the Twitter Bullyverse? Oh, maybe it's okay. Let's just go on. Carry on. Yeah, the Bullyverse, the bull game that I just show you the picture. Actually, they have a booth inside this conference. So maybe you can just go there and give it a try, because this game has already launched, and it's a AAA game with very great experience. And they are partnering with a lot of NFT projects, and in the future, a lot of new, like maybe Azuki or the Bored Ape. You can use your NFT collections and gain your avatars inside this game and try the experience there inside. Okay, so I just did some showcase about some of the games or the metaverse experiences that we can have so far in terms of the crypto world, but what makes me more excited is actually we can explore more about the composability inside this crypto world. And so here comes the NFT collections. Actually, if we like divide, if you let me divide into the categories of NFT collections, like a few months ago, we can like have a lot of definitions for different categories, like PFP, the art pieces, or the in-game avatars, or even SDK, or a lot more. But now they are not like pure meaning behind each NFT collection anymore, because you have a lot of composable like ideas to integrate your NFT art pieces or integrate your NFT collections into different kinds of like the use cases or scenarios. Like you can extend your collections into an IP, and you can create your own culture, identity, culture, like the chain. And so in terms of this part, I think what makes us pretty excited is that for us, because we are investors for different types of projects like the NFT collections, like the games, and like the metaverse, and we will organically connect all those portfolio projects all together, and so that they can cooperate with more sparks and scenarios in the future. And so besides the application level, just now we showed the NFTs, the games, and the metaverse that we can play directly with our phones or the websites. But what I think is more important is about the infrastructure level. So from the investment perspective, we are pretty focused on the investment on infrastructure level as well. And so we can take a look at the whole picture and the whole layers of different like types of projects that combine the whole ecosystem. And we are pretty dedicated into investment into the layer 1 protocols like the engine, affinity, flow, and a lot more different protocols. And the other tooling and derivative projects that can help this ecosystem become more interesting, like some loans and lending and borrowing, NFT platforms as well. And so for us, what we can do more to the project is that we recently have set up our own metaverse building in a big country, one of our portfolio company, and we're about to set up one more in Decentraland. And you can take a look at the structure and the inside. And in the future, we'll do showcase to different types of projects inside our building, in different stages with different topics. And maybe we can invite you guys in the future to come in for a look in the future as well. And that's all. Thank you. And if you have any other questions, you can just raise to me and James at any time. Thank you.